So I grew up in a little town in the South, and there were several things that taught me what the world was like. And one was, in the third grade, the boys started hitting the girls on the playground that they liked. But the girls didn't understand why they were being hit, and it was unpleasant. And, so they were freaking out. Like, what do we do? Because we're taught to be nonviolent, and the boys are taught to beat us as an act of love. So, you know, but instead of giving the girls the tools to deal with the situation, or the boys to deal with the situation, the girls would say, "Why does he hit me?" And the adults, the freaking adults in the community would say, "The harder he hits you, the more he likes you." Now, why would you tell that to an 8-year-old? Like, it's just egregious. You can't tell an 8-year-old that the harder he hits you, the more he likes you. And, the boys are being told the same thing, and then everybody wonders why we grow up and there's all this domestic violence. I'm like, well, maybe it's because we were told these crazy things when we were children. And another thing about the South is a restraining order is like as good as a diamond engagement ring. I mean, because if he doesn't want to kill you, he doesn't really love you. And I've actually heard this. If he doesn't want to kill you, he doesn't really love you. And then, people wonder how I ended up being gay. And to me, it was just, I mean, in that environment, it's really the only, it's the only option because otherwise you're probably going to end up beaten and dead or more. And that's love. That's what love is. Love is getting hit really hard and going to the police and getting a restraining order, which is, also an act of love. These are all acts of love as opposed to violence against you that you should try to prevent at all costs. And if you love somebody, don't beat them. My God. Don't teach your kids to beat people that they love. That's not going to work in the future. But, I left the South. I'm an expatriate. I had to go. Um, anyway, it's funny though, because in California, um, all the places I lived in Cleveland, I lived in Massachusetts, I lived in Wisconsin, I lived in New Orleans. I was born in Memphis, raised in a tiny town in Florida. Like, I was all over up and down the coast, north and south. But California was the only place where people assumed that I could cook fried chicken. How's that for, a little ridiculousness? Oh, you're from the South. You must know how to cook fried chicken really well. So I had to like learn how to cook fried chicken really well after I got here when I was 28 years old because all of a sudden these people, oh, pecan pie, like they only, this like the southern idea is like you can make fried chicken and pecan pie because that's the only thing that a lot of people in California know about the South is the food and and restraining orders are as good as a diamond engagement ring because that does appear in other like that's we earned the reputation that we got in the South. I have to say, so I'm getting older and a lot of my friends are also aging with me and they're having children like 38, 39, 40, 41, 42 years old having children, which means they're supposed to like right when their kids are graduating they'll be supposedly retiring. Not that you know retirement isn't going to happen for anybody ever again, but theoretically we would retire and around that age. And I can't even imagine. I mean, I had the energy when I was in my 20s to chase after kids, but I'm not even in my, well, maybe my early 30s, but not after 35. After 35, you start to kind of conserve your energy a little bit, and you know, you don't chase, you don't go looking for romance as much. You just have a cup of tea and read a book. Like, it's better that way. Um, so for me, I've always been a little ahead of my time. So I'd like to stay in and play my guitar and read a book and have some tea. What's wrong with that? There's no. I've seen a bunch of stuff. I don't need to go out and see. I don't need any more excitement. I have enough excitement. I can think about all the excitement I used to have if I can remember it. So a lot of people have asked me over the years, because I'm so maternal, if I want to have kids. And like, really, some of them are very pressuring. You'd make a great mom, and I'd probably make a great lots of things. And I just that's whether or not I want to do it, because that really will matter in terms of how the kid turns out. And I just don't. I like to sleep in, and I don't know. We have enough people. There's enough people. We got plenty. We actually have too many. So, I don't need to make more. We got way too many. We're way beyond our carrying capacity. Like, you don't know what that is, look it up. It's very important. It's a very important term that we should all know off the top of our heads. I don't need to make any more. But if I was going to do the parenting thing, I would do what most of my guy friends have done, which is just go straight into divorced parenting. You got the kid like, 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in the summer. It's like the National Guard. You could take care of that. You could totally, 1 week in a month, 2 weeks out of the summer. And then the rest of the time, the other parent has to raise the kid and deal with like them vomiting at 6 a.m. and having to call into work. And, that's the difficult part. The weekend is fun. And 2 weeks in the summer, you get to be the good parent, the good dad. And then the kid can have all these fantasies about how, great you are, because you weren't there to screw up and disappoint them and discipline them and all of that stuff. So, you know, but I also have to give it to fathers. I think Father's Day should just be called Motherfuckers Day. I think, because you are. If you're a father, you're a motherfucker. So I think when it's Father's Day and you call your male friends, you should just be like, "Hey, happy Motherfuckers Day," because you're a motherfucker. So happy Father's Day.